Greetings, South St. Paul staff members. I just wanted to begin today with an overview of our facilities update for January 2013. This is Dave Webb, Superintendent of Schools, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the latest for our facilities committee work. When we began about a year ago with all of our facilities work and process, we began with just a good IB question, and our key question was to ask, are we ready for our current kindergartners as they travel through our system for the next 12 years? And it was pretty enlightening as we got deeper and deeper into our study that we quickly responded that we're not ready. And that drove our school board to ask for a full setup of facility committee recommendations, which we're now coming to over these last few weeks. We, at the beginning of December, came out of the water with a telephone survey to our community. We interviewed 400 residents, South St. Paul residents, and those interviews were completed during the first part of December. We got a handle on what the community had to say about our school district. They were very supportive, as you'll see in the upcoming slides, of what we're doing around the district. But we wanted to ask a representative group about our facilities specifically. We began the survey with an open-ended question: if we were to place a bond referendum on the ballot next year that would increase property taxes to raise funds to accommodate our enrollment growth and renovate our schools, would you support such a proposal? And on that first open-ended question, about 49% of our residents said, yes, we would. We asked things about repairing and replacing our aging heating and ventilation systems. That had an 82% response rate in favor. Roofs, 81%. Increasing our STEM space and redesigning some of those spaces was 80%. We had a 67% support for new classroom growth and accommodating that enrollment growth, and also for our high school library, a 63% response. As we move forward, we also had strong support for upgrading surveillance and security systems, improving our digital network and our wireless systems, and renovating classrooms at Lincoln Center had a 60% rate, reducing our lease payments for our preschool program at a 60% rate. All of our upgrades for security, telephone, and intercom system had a 55% rate. And the fact that we have studied this for a year by our facilities committee said 53% of the people said they'd be more likely to respond yes for a proposal just knowing that. When we asked about tax implication, we had a 67% of the people said we would still vote yes if it were $55 per $142,000 home here in South St. Paul. So we, from our financial analysts, were able to get data that said the average home price here in South St. Paul is $142,000. And so again, this graph has a ratio that says 59% of the people would still vote yes if we increase the taxes to $80 a year. 45% of the people would still vote yes on the $100 level per home per year. And if we increase taxes to $125 a year, only 33% of our phone call participation would still be able to say yes. So we're trying to target our proposal that we're hoping to move forward on for this spring somewhere in that $80 to $90 tax range per $142,000 home. Within the community survey, we asked them to briefly describe what they believe is the best thing about South St. Paul schools. Good teachers topped the list, 19%. The IB program, quality curriculum at 16%. individuals were named at 14%, sense of community at 13%, other and miscellaneous at 13%. Nothing was 3%, and diversity at 3%. In the community survey, we also asked specifically about just their voting trends, and have they in the past approved levy proposals, and then has the district effectively spent those funds in previous from previous elections. And 48% said yes, the levies that have been passed, those funds have been spent appropriately. 15% said they disagree with that, and about 23% said don't know. But overall, about 57% said yes. The district newsletter was by far the leading way that most people in South St. Paul receive information about the schools. When the district has placed levy proposals on the ballot before, about 26% of our residents have supported every single one of them, and about 41% have supported some, but not all. If we begin looking back 20 years, our bond referendum pieces have created pivotal moments in the history of our district. 20 years ago, 1993 was when Kaposia Elementary was completed. 12 years ago, we were able to do a major upgrade in our technology plan, on our security systems district-wide. We did a real big forklift at that time about all of our technology and equipment in the district. We had Central Square was renovated. We built the new cafeteria within the secondary building. We were able to have air conditioning in the auditorium. We made a number of touches on academic space needs and maintenance repair. At Lincoln Center, we had the expansion of our cafeteria and media center remodeling, and also at Kaposia we had additional music space added. Typically, the largest 25 districts in the state, which is about 42% of Minnesota public education, is able to tap into alternative facility levy dollars. That means that their school boards can simply take a vote and levy for the dollars that they need. Being one of the smaller districts in the state, we're in that not 46% or the 54% outside the largest 25 districts. We have to go to our voters to seek approval for our school district levy, and again, that's the direction we're heading for this spring. In this current levy, this bond referendum that we're seeking to look ahead at later in the spring, we would be asking for a number of deferred maintenance needs. We need roofs, boilers, elevators, and I'm going to just start giving you some brief overviews without going into a whole lot of detail here. I'll just maybe touch on the biggest ticket items. We need a new roof at Kaposia. That alone is $600,000. We need roof repair at Lincoln Center and our air conditioning condenser replacement there. At the secondary building, we have, again, roofs, tuck pointing, carpet replacement, all that needs some touches. The track based at Lincoln, but it's used, district-wide. That alone is $500,000. And then we have just a lot of upgrade even for Central Square of a couple $100,000. But our total deferred maintenance bill is $3,800,000 that we truly don't want to take out of general fund dollars because it hurts programs throughout the rest of our district. What we've seen this year with the launch of our Inver Hills AA degree program is that we are beginning to have college continue to push into the upper grades in our secondary building. We're also seeing that same downward push with our 6th grade standard statewide is really what many of us when we attended school was our 7th grade. And our kindergarten is now truly happening in 4-year-old programming. The level of expectations even for 3 and 4-year-olds is increasing, and their ability to accomplish more is increasing. For early learning, we know that about half of the kids coming into our kindergarten classes are not ready for kindergarten. Many are struggling to name a number, a letter, and identify those. They don't know how to hold a book oftentimes. We need to do more in early learning to help kids be successful throughout the rest of our system. 30 years ago, the data says that 75% of the parents read to their children. That compares to just nationwide, around the United States, only 25% of families are reading to their kids. We just yesterday visited the North St. Paul preschool program. That was recommended by the Department of Ed, and they have options that are serving the students at risk, district-wide within their program. We are not able, due to space constraints, to serve an increasing number of preschool students. And that's why, as a part of this study, we have recommendations specifically to expand preschool options. But lunch can be provided for at-risk learners, and especially for free and reduced lunch earners, in the same way that regular K-12 students could opt in to free lunch. We just simply can't get there space-wise. So part of our options is to transition 4-year-old programming from Family Connections to Kaposia, and to look at an addition, a 6th classroom addition at the south end of Kaposia, and to remodel our locker room space at Lincoln Center. For 6th grade, there's been a lot of conversation about 6th grade, but long story short, we are looking at 2 levels of additional classroom space just that would house about 5 to 6 classes each for 6th grade, that would go right above a remodeled Heritage Hall area. So our old cafeteria space right behind the auditorium, which was our old gymnasium, would get remodeled just for a 6th grade center that would really be their own space tucked away within the secondary building. Within the survey, you saw that there was a lot of support for STEM or STEAM, which includes the arts, but science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics, to have a redesign of our industrial arts area, which would strengthen many of the current programs that we offer, but also to have, we're looking at a committee right now that's studying not only the curriculum of that area, but to make some curriculum recommendations over these next few months, some design recommendations of the rooms themselves, and also some technology recommendations for the technology that would be a part of those rooms. And just a timeline piece, whether it's 6th grade or STEM redesign, we would potentially have an election, a bond election late in the spring here. Some of that work could begin immediately, and some of it would take 2 years just to complete. And so we're really talking about the fall of 2015. Building security at each of our entrances has been a priority. We have nearly $1 million that is just dedicated to redesign at every school entrance throughout the district as part of this plan. We also have over $1 million just in wireless and fiber optic cable and telephone and communication system upgrades that would take place district-wide. And this is a quick slide from Montgomery County, Maryland. They have 7 high schools in this huge district in Maryland. This is one of the leading districts in the nation. But about 6-7 years ago, they began really putting heavy-duty funds into their early learning programs, and they began to create a stronger and stronger focus on early learning. I think it looks like 10 years ago now, 2003. But you can see the upward trending data. for a school district. This is, I believe, their 3rd grade reading proficiency scores, and then here's their 5th grade reading proficiency scores as they began to invest more and more on early learning results. And it ties back to why that is so critical. So just in summary, the vision, early learning support, we need space so we can run the kind of programming we need to build a top school district. We need to have our deferred maintenance needs met like many other districts around the state are currently meeting. We need to have technology infusion and upgrading our wireless systems as we want to continue to build on our technology infrastructure and capacity for all of staff and students. And then classroom space, we need to continue to enhance our classroom space allotments for our growing enrollment. We had, again, strong support for our STEM vision or STEAM vision as we redesign those areas specifically within our secondary building, and we have to always make sure to have security and safety out front in all that we do. So as a next step, our facilities committee is now recommending that the board begins to tackle the review of their work. So over this next month, our Board of Education will begin to review the committee's work and then to make their own recommendations for our potential bond. Then if they get to a point where they say, yes, let's go out officially for a bond, there'll be a great deal of community communication, updating and information, and then ultimately late spring vote. So that's it for today, and just want to say thank you for all of your work here in the South St. Paul schools.